Hi everyone, welcome to Papa's Workshop. You know, we've got a real problem in this country that I want to be able to address, and I don't know any place else, but I know this country, and people don't know how to read a tape measure. So today I want to fix that in the beginner series and show everyone the correct way to be able to read a tape measure. And if you are in the construction industry or ever plan on being in the construction industry, you will be way ahead if you know how to read a tape measure. So let's get started. Now, to begin with, how do I know there's a problem? Well, really, there's two reasons that I know that there's a problem. When I was in the construction field, we had a tape measure, and that tape measure, in fact, this is a real old one, looked like this. It had a whole bunch of lines on it. It had the numbers, and that was it. And recently, I did a video on tips and tricks of the tape measure, but I didn't go into all the little marks on there. Well, in the last few years, and here's why I know there's a problem. In the last few years, more and more, the tape measures actually have the little 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch marked at the bottom. Now, in this particular one, they still have the regular little tick marks, if you will, the little lines, to be able to read the tape measure. Now, the problem that I have is when I was working in the industry, I would have a carpenter, supposed professional carpenter, that would call out a measurement that needed to be cut. And let's say it was 8 feet, 3 inches, and then a little bit more. So here's how it would go. He would say, okay, I need a board cut 8 foot 3 and 3 tick marks. 3 tick marks? What does that mean? So today what I want to be able to do is go through that and explain to you what those lines mean and an easy way to be able to read it. Okay, so here is just a unit of measurement. And what I want to be able to show you is the longest line, this line right here, and this line right here would be the one, let's say this would be 1 inch. And this would be the 2 inches. So this is the important thing in here. Now those are the longest lines to be able to designate 1 inch. That's pretty easy. When you read the tape measure, you can read easily the 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and so on across. That's the longest line. Now that we know about the longest line, the next longest line is right here. And that's halfway in between. So this is real easy. That is 1/2. Now, let's break it down again. The next largest line after that is this line right here, this line right here, and that's the 1/4. So now you would have 1 inch and 1/4. Let me write 1/4 here. And we'll write 1/4 here. So now then, if I would have 1 inch and 1/4, then I would read 1 inch and 1/2. Do I read this as 3/4? Yes. Do I read this as just 1/4? No, I would read 1 and 3/4. 1, 2, 3. So that's how that would be read. Now then, the next line that we would have would be right in here, and it's a little bit shorter. And I wish I was doing this live, because I would ask right now, what does this line mean? Well, we're dividing the 1/4 into 2, so that now is 1/8. So that's an 1/8, that's an 1/8, this is an 1/8, that's an 1/8. So if I do read this, it'd be 1 and 1/8, 1 and 1/4, Would I read it as 2/8? No, you don't read it that way because that's the longer line. So this would be 1 1/4. This would be 1 1/8. When I read this one, I'd read 1 3/8. And it's real easy when you start to look at this. You know there's going to be 2/8 there. Here's just one extra one. So 1 3/8. When you get to the half, it's the longest line, so 1 1/2. That's how you want to be able to read that. Now then, let's take this one step further, and let's make us split this in half again. Because this is the way most of the tape measures are. And this is the smallest line that you have on the regular tape measure. And those are the 16th. So this would be 1 1/16, 1 1/8, 1 3/16. So remember my example at the beginning where I said the person had said 3 tick marks? Well, 1, 2, 3 tick marks. So he wanted that board cut where it was 3/16 of an inch. But now you know how to read that because that is my 1/16. So 1 1/16, 1 1/8, that next longer line. There are some tape measures out there that actually will break this down one more time. And I'm not going to draw this all the way across, but it's a very small line. Again, it's much smaller. And if I take and divide that out, those are actually 1/32. You don't see that very often, but if you see a tape measure with it, at least you will know what it means. Okay, so let's go through this. The longest line are the even inches. The next longest line is my 1/2 inch. Then we break it down into quarters. Then we break it down into eighths. And then last, we break it down into the 16ths. So it's very important when you go out and working in the field that you can say 1, and what would that be? That would be 3/8. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. 1, and what's that? That would be 7/16. This may take a little bit of practice, but the reason it's 7/16 because this long line is a 1/2 inch. Well, how many 16ths are there in an inch? Well, there's 16. This would be 8 of them. If we counted them, we could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to practice to the point where you can just look at it and know where the number is going to be. So for example, we know that that longest line here in the middle is a 1/2. So 1 1/2. If I look at the next right here, what is that? 1 5/8. Okay, 1 9/16. Okay, so that's how you want to be able to read it. So this was a real quick video. I hope this helps. Hi everyone, thank you for watching my video today. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell next to it so you'll be notified on the different videos that I upload. Also check out the videos over here to be able to stay up to date on the happenings in my shop. So again, thank you for watching my videos.